BlackShear, a correction officer, used a shotgun to shoot and kill his 14-year-old daughter and her mom.
You wouldn't wish this on anyone. I don't care how much you didn't like someone. This is a pain that no one ever wants to feel.
Some betrayals cut so deep, they never heal. Some wounds are so painful, even time cannot erase them. But nothing, absolutely nothing can prepare the heart for the horror of a father turning against his own child. Nobody, absolutely nobody would ever believe that Jelani BlackShear, a respected correctional officer, was capable of such evil. That this man, a father, a husband, would commit an atrocity so evil that even the devil will be ashamed. But on this fateful night, he did. Using a shotgun, he murdered his 14-year-old daughter, Jayla, and her mother, Rael Thompson, all because he wanted to bury a truth so dark that it could destroy him. This is not just a story of murder. This is a story of deception, of hidden evil, of a devil disguised as a man. But to understand how things got to this point, we must go back to where it all began. Rael Thompson was a strong woman, the kind of woman who refused to let life defeat her. She was raised by her mother Jerry and her stepfather Anthony White. She grew up in a home filled with love and warmth. And even though Anthony was not her biological father, he treated her like her own. No difference, no favoritism, just pure love. Rael had big dreams. She was ambitious, intelligent, and full of life. But life, as always, had its own plans. At just 16, Rael got pregnant. For many young girls, this would have been the dead end. But not for Rael. She refused to be a statistic. She got married to a military man and moved to Alaska and continued fighting for a better life. But love was not enough. The marriage that bore 3 children didn't last, leaving Rael, a young divorcee mom, in a state very far from home. Instead of retreating, Rael embraced Alaska, falling in love with its rugged beauty and peace. Alaska felt like a second home. She threw herself into a new learning. She learned snowboard. She stayed active, making new friends who became like family. She wasn't just surviving, she was thriving, determined to make a difference. She pursued nursing at the University of Alaska Anchorage, earning her a bachelor's degree. She worked tirelessly, caring for the elderly and disabled patients at the Providence Transitional Care Center, and by night she specialized in oncology and hematology at the Alaska Native Medical Center. It was emotionally draining, but Rael was the light in the darkest of places for her patients. Her patients adored her. Her colleagues described her as one who was bubbly and compassionate. She wasn't just a nurse, she was a lifeline for so many. Then came Jelani BlackShear. Rael met him while he worked as a correctional officer at the Anchorage Correctional Complex. At first, he seemed like a dream come true. A man who treated her kids as if they were his own. Someone kind, supportive, and ready to step up. They even had a daughter together named Jayla during a rocky time in Rael's first marriage. So by the time Jayla was 6, Jelani was back in her life, stepping into the role of a husband and father. Rael's parents even adored him. He was calm, warm, and he fit seamlessly into their family. He seemed to bring Rael happiness, and Rael's children were very comfortable around him. In the surface, he was everything a family could hope for. But here's the thing, appearances can be deceiving. Behind closed door, Jelani was not the man he pretended to be. While Rael maintained the illusion of a happy marriage, her reality was far darker. Jelani wasn't just emotionally and physically abusive. He was cruel, and his cruelty ran deeper. He was a predator, preying on the very people he was supposed to protect and love. Just to give a hint about some red flags that were ignored, Jelani BlackShear had a pretty sketchy past. Court records show he had a history of domestic violence and even assault charges in 2019. The Office of the Children's Service (OCS) launched an investigation into the family. They found a whole mess of issues of domestic violence, unsafe condition, but the incident that really shook these officials happened when Jelani left his loaded gun on the table after coming home from his job as a correction officer. His 4-year-old daughter from a previous relationship, was visiting from Oklahoma at the time. Somehow, she got hold of his gun and accidentally shot herself. The bullet went through her chest and out her back, but miraculously, she survived after emergency surgery. But you can imagine the trauma when police questioned Jelani. His explanation was unbelievable. He claimed that he had worked the night shift and left the gun out and went upstairs to sleep. Then the sound of the gunshot woke him up, and when he came downstairs, he found his little girl bleeding in the dining room. The other kids told him she must have shot herself. When asked, he said he usually kept a round in the gun chamber because of bears. This incident landed him in court with 4 reckless endangerment charges. And it doesn't stop there. The whole situation prompted the OCS to step in and take the kids into emergency custody. One investigator even noted that Rachel seemed to be controlled by Jelani, that she wasn't in a position to make good decisions for her kids. And honestly, she wasn't wrong. Later, Rachel even admitted to her mom that investigator was the only one who could truly see what was happening in her home. But at the time, even Rachel's parents didn't fully understand the danger. They thought the shooting was just a tragic accident. They still cared about Jelani and believed that he didn't mean any harm. Jerry, Rachel's mom, even flew to Alaska to help out, teaming with Rachel's biological father to make sure the kids could come back after the investigations. Eventually, the kids did return, but things weren't the same. In the early hours of March 30th, 2022, 14-year-old Jayla told her mom something that would shatter any parent's world. Her father, the man who was supposed to love and protect her, had hurt her in the worst way imaginable, while Rachel was working a night shift. The awful event started after Jayla and her father argued about her sexuality. Jelani told her that she couldn't be gay in his house, and later that night, he did something horrific to prove that. Jelani crossed the line that no loving father would, doing the unthinkable to his own child, allegedly sexually molesting her. You can only imagine how shattered Rachel must have felt after hearing this. But instead of freezing, she acted quickly. She took Jayla straight to the hospital where they ran some tests. And then she contacted the police and Alaska Care Group, a group that help kids that have been through such abuse. By April 1st, the investigations was moving fast. The police got a warrant to collect Jelani's DNA. Meanwhile, the Office of the Children's Service stepped in and filed for emergency custody of the kids. The boys were put in a foster care, but strangely, Jayla wasn't placed in a temporary house right away. Rachel had also left Jelani by this point. She and Jayla were staying in a hotel outside the state while she made plans to file for divorce and move her family to California to be with her parents. It seemed like she was trying to take control of her life, but evil does not let go easily. Now, the night where everything fell apart. On April 3rd, 2022, Rachel and Jayla went to the police station, but then something strange happened. Rachel told the police officers that all the allegations weren't true. Her family was shocked. They didn't believe it. Her parents were convinced that Jelani had threatened her, blackmailed her, or manipulated her into taking back her words. But what really happened? We may not know what really happened. All we know is that after leaving the station, Rachel and Jayla went back home, and that was the last time anyone saw them alive. Because that night, Jelani made his move. At exactly 1:20 a.m., the silence of the night was shattered with gunshots. Boom, 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 a shotgun. The walls shook, blood splattered, the air grew thin with the stench of death. By the time the echoes faded away, Rachel and Jayla were gone. Jelani was not just a murderer, he was a coward. After killing them, he took their phones and started sending fake messages to their family members. He started pretending to be Rachel, responding to texts, making it seem like everything was fine. He even contacted a friend in New York, asking if he could come stay with her. He thought he was smart. He thought he could get away. But the dead do not stay silent. Days passed, but Rachel's cousin, Rael Thompson, and other family members grew suspicious. They begged the police to check on her. The police visited the house multiple times, but they noticed nothing strange until April 15th. When they finally broke down the door, what they found inside the house was horrifying. It was heartbreaking. Rachel had been shot 4 times, while her daughter Jayla twice in the head. A father had murdered his own child and wife. What even made matters worse was that 2 days before Rachel and Jayla were found, the DNA test from Jayla's sexual assault kit came back matching Jelani, her father. But by then, the damage had already been done. The police did not waste time. A nationwide manhunt began. Jelani had quit his job and fled Alaska on April 7th. But on April 20th, the US Marshals tracked him down in New York City and arrested him. His days of running were over. In court, prosecutors exposed him for who he truly was, a dangerous, manipulative, heartless beast. One investigator even said that Jelani BlackShear is the most sophisticated, manipulative, controlling, and dangerous parent I have ever dealt with in 14 years. He was charged with murder, sexual assault, and tampering with evidence. If convicted, he will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Some wounds will never heal. Some scars will never fade. 3 children were left without a mother. A family was left shattered. And the world was left asking same haunting question. How could a father do this to his own blood? How could they have not seen the danger? This tragedy is not just a story. It is but a warning. A warning that evil does not always come with fangs and claws. Sometimes it wears a smile.